Thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. I'm Stephen Willis from the Locked On Ole Miss podcast alongside Ole Miss legend Tim Thomas. We're going to talk a little bit of basketball about the undefeated, one of three teams in the country undefeated, Ole Miss Rebels. How you doing, Tim?
Yeah, that's really good. We hadn't seen this in a long time. I think the other two are James Madison, Houston. So it's a good time to be Ole Miss Rebel and good time for Ole Miss basketball.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts to think about that Ole Miss has equaled the win total that they had all last season before they've entered conference play. I mean, whenever you sit there and think about that going on, it's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, you hear all these coaches, when they get hired, making all these promises and go, is the ticket office open? Keith Carter, is it open? Yeah. And you say, well, they all say that. He's fulfilled all his promises so far. And I don't see why it could change this coming Sunday against Bryant.
Yeah, and Bryant, from what I saw, now this could be incorrect. I just saw this post on one of the message boards, but apparently Bryant has another player from St. Peter's that were teammates with Juju Murray from that run that they made to the Elite Eight.
I'm not aware of that. I knew they beat FAU, which is they were in the Final Four last year. I know they beat them earlier in the year before they kind of got their stuff going, but I wasn't aware of that. I saw their coach. I don't know him. I knew his father, Phil Martelli. He was a coach at St. Joseph's for many years, and his son now, Phil Martelli Jr., is the coach there at Bryant. So I'm not sure. They're 8-6. We'll see how good they are. These games are tough. Students are out. It's really tough to get everybody in Sunday afternoon, 3:00. It's all different, but I got faith in Coach Beard, and he'll make it happen.
Yeah, and this is coming off about of a week break is the way it will be. I think it's the Christmas Eve or 2 days before Christmas they played Southern Miss, and then they've got nearly a week off. But Ole Miss just took apart Southern Mississippi. I mean, that was clinical.
Do you see their shooting percentage in threes on threes? 57.9, something like that. That's unbelievable. That's not normal. That's really good. I'm really proud that. And we talked about it last week about they have a little class, not school, but they have a place there in the pavilion where everyone goes through that, and they go through a schooling process to work on their shooting and things like that. And it's working. It's really working. You can tell the confidence level of all the guys. I think Morrell had 4 threes. Juju had 5 threes. And that's something that hasn't happened in the last several years. We've been worried and thinking, can we get a 3-point shooter? Actually, we had him. Morrell's the real deal when he's open, and Brakefield also did well. Also, they had a real good game. Good to see Brandon Murray coming in helping a little bit, and the center Sharp and CC getting to play. They did a little thing here and there, but we don't have to have their scoring. We don't have to have them scoring a lot, just enough, but Brandon Murray, he'll start scoring some, and Caldwell, he'll start scoring. I looked at the year summary. Flanagan, Morrell average around 16, Juju 15, and Brakefield around 10, Caldwell around 8. So if you get 5 double figures and play a defense where they're doing, we're going to do okay in the SEC, I think.
Yeah, and I hate to kind of toot our own horn a little bit, Tim, but last year we talked about all the weightlifting during the season. That was the topic that we kept talking about. And all of a sudden we didn't know if it was just that we didn't have a shooter or if that happened. But this year it kind of gives credence a little bit maybe to what we thought of happened. We still don't know that it did exactly happen, but it kind of feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it had something to do with it. I think John Riley knows how to do this. Beard has brought him with him everywhere he's been the last several years, so he knows how to handle it. You got to do weightlifting, especially some of these guys. Just think about Jamari and Sharp. He's got to have some weightlifting done, and they all do that to tone them up, keep the muscles good. But you can't do it certain times prior to a game, a day before. It takes time for your muscles to all relax and all. So they got it going. They know what they're doing. As you can see by the three, I'm good to see it. The 3-point shooting is unbelievable right now, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, and the weird thing about it is this has always been an unselfish team. That's been in the DNA of the core of this team the whole time they've been in school. But this year, you see them turning down a good shot for a great shot and then turning that down for an elite shot. And they're just willing to do that. They don't seem to care about numbers or their own stats. It's all about doing what's best for what they can for the team. And it's paying off every time the other team gets on a run. And they've been doing that all year. The other team has gotten on a run during the season. Ole Miss now is shutting that run down with a clutch shot, with an and one, something like that. And they're doing that through ball movement, honestly.
Yeah, they against a zone, they move the ball really well. Then Juju or one of the guys go in between two. That's where you talk about penetrating and dish. You go between two people, make them pick you up. Someone's open, right? So you get at that person, and if they get covered up real quick, not time for the defense to move, then you throw it one more time. And if that guy's covered one more time, and that one more time is a wide open three, and that's what's been happening. They've been doing this really well. Even in the man-to-man defense, they've been doing really well. They set picks, good solid picks, and they're finally getting to the point where they understand that. They set good solid picks. The guy's open. They either do a pick and roll that time thing to Sharp or Cisse, or they find a guy that's helping who gets the ball. If Sharp's got it or Flanagan, a lot of times he'll play right in the middle and they'll throw it into him. He's really good about finding the open guy, and it's made a big difference, as you can see by the percentages.
All right, so we realized that Ole Miss has Bryant on, I think it was New Year's Eve, so that's Sunday night. Now, let's turn our attention to Tennessee because that's going to be January 6th. That is the big alpha dog in the Southeastern Conference right now, the Tennessee Volunteers. If you want to talk about a measuring stick of where Ole Miss sits as a basketball program, that game actually means a little bit. What do you think about that Tennessee game as it gets a little bit closer?
They're really talented, as we talked about. It's going to be really hard up there in Knoxville. 24 or more thousand. Coach Barnes is really good. He was at Texas before, really successful, and his defense, he teaches defense, and they had several good portal guys, and they had a good crew coming back. They're rated like 8th in the nation on AP, I believe, and it's going to be tough. And but I got faith. So far, we've held on. Even if we do get beat a little bit, it's going to be hard. Let's be honest. Even in football, you go to Auburn, there's something going on there. We don't know. But you go to Knoxville, you go to Rupp Arena to Kentucky, but you go any of these places, they're packed. The student section, it's really hard. And the referees, for whatever reason, they seem like the calls all go against you. But it's going to be tough to beat them. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's going to be really tough. But if anybody can do it this year, today, I believe Chris Beard will have a plan, him and his coaches, and they got the players. We have the players, guys. We have the players that can do it. With so many weapons. I mean, you got 4 legitimate scores from the 3. Also, take it to the board. We got Flanagan, a major addition. Juju, major addition. Really a great point guard. Really unselfish, and they throw the ball around really well. Like you said, they're a team. He talks about the culture. The culture has been created. Away game, it's tough no matter what kind of culture you got. It's really hard. But if anybody could do it, I believe that this team could do it. We'll see.
All right. We know you're the basketball legend and the basketball analyst on this channel, but we're going to turn our attention to the Peach Bowl right now. What are you looking forward to in the Peach Bowl, and what are your score projection for that game?
Wow. I'm glad you didn't tell me about this. Oh, that's I feel good about it. I know they had a few opt-outs on the Penn State team, and we had Cedric opt out, but I think we're still good. Offense is really good. The defense, I think, is good enough. It's going to be a lot better next year, it looks like. 31-27 Ole Miss, 31-27. I don't know if that's anywhere close to what you got. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking right now, and I'm going to give my official score tomorrow whenever I have my crossover with Zach Seiko, but I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 34-31. That's kind of where I'm kind of coalescing at the moment.
I think all the people picking what Penn State 3 or 4. So it's hard to know. It's Atlanta will have a great crowd there. I'm sure they'll bring a good crowd, so there won't be a home field advantage per se. But Dart, Junkins, or Harris, Watkins, Wade's last game, he's going to be ready to go, and I think they're all.
And he's
ready
from
to go.
Atlanta.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. That's good. I feel good about it. Our football team has done amazing. I'm proud of Kiffin and Pete Golden. They're the real deal. I enjoy watching them and enjoy listening to them.
Thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Tim Thomas coming on here to talk a little bit of hoops before we get ready into the Peach Bowl mindset for this weekend. Thank you, Tim, so much, bud.
Yeah, we're ranked 24th in the AP, I think till 25th in the Coaches Poll.
22nd.
22nd, good, awesome. Good, glad you saw that. I didn't catch that. And so we're a ranked team. We get a little notoriety. We got a chance to beat Bryant this Sunday. I hope we don't lay an egg. I don't believe we will. And then we go up to Knoxville and try to beat them. And if it's a close game, I believe we got a chance. I think we will. Let's go get them.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
God bless.